Welcome to the Rap Soul Podcast, where we dive deep into the world of music that moves our hearts and gets our feet tapping. This is the intersection of rap and soul music from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. We appreciate you for listening. Share this podcast with a friend or family member who loves music as much as you do. The podcast is hosted by 12 Kyle. Next up, the Rap Soul Podcast.
Welcome to another edition of the Rap Soul Podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. If you found this episode because someone wrote it on the back of the school bus, welcome and thank you. If you found this episode because someone wrote it in your Trapper Keep, welcome and thank you. And if you found this episode because they said, if you want to have a good time, check this podcast out, welcome and thank you. Again, this is the Rap Soul Podcast. This is the intersection of hip-hop, rap, soul, R&B from artists from the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. This is the best music podcast that you've never heard until right now. And what I want to talk about on this episode is, this is what we've done on the flagship station, the 12 Kyle podcast. It's something called the Versus Series. It's where you take an artist and you compare and contrast two of their albums. And in this case, we have chosen a very, very special artist, an artist that I love, an artist that is near and dear to my heart. And it is Erykah Badu and her first two albums, Baduism and Mama's Gun. And we got a special guest in the building. She is no stranger to the show, fellow podcaster herself, the host of the I Can Talk About This All Day podcast. My homegirl, Britt, is in the building. Britt, what up?
What's up? Look, that's a long-winded intro.
I know, right?
That's a long-winded intro, man.
Hey, I gotta figure out how to cut it down. But this is new over here, so we're kind of working out the kinks.
And you use it every time, and then you just shoot right on it.
There you go.
See?
You go. I'm working on it.
It's good though. I like the trap.
Yeah, welcome to the Rap Soul Podcast. It's your first time here on the Rap Soul Podcast. But what we're doing something that we've done before. Again, this is the Versus Series. We have talked about this, and we said we were going to do it. Erykah Badu, her two albums, the first album, Baduism, and her second album, Mama's Gun. So we've been talking about this for a while. How do you feel about talking about these two albums?
I say this with every time we do a versus. I feel like I'm going to be biased, and I really try to. Both good albums, though. Definitely, especially that first one. It took me back into a time, but I do feel it is going to be a little challenging, though.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. And for those of you scoring at home and listening, the way we do it is we don't just go off the top of our head. What we've done is we've separated the album and how we break these two albums down, and it's on the criteria. Now, the criteria are as follows. Coherence, that's one piece. Oftentimes there's a theme, something an artist is going through. Occasionally, it'll produce a concept album, but not necessarily the rule. And sometimes the emotion is so strong in the album that it gives us certain things that we go off of. Great albums do this consistently. So coherence is one. The other, obviously, is impact. Impact is another thing that we use to measure these albums. And we're going to rank them from 1 to 5 on each of these categories. Impact might not always means that an album might not always receive critical acclaim. But the repercussions and influence of the album can be felt for years and years after it has been released. The replayability. There has to be enough quality songs to make subsequent visits worthwhile for your listening pleasure. Obviously, the next category would be lyrics. How does the artist sound with their words? Do the words ring in your ear and have memory? And last but not least, the production. How does the album sound phonically? How well was it produced and sequenced? So with that said, let's get into it, Britt. Baduism versus Mama's Gun. Now, for those of you scoring at home, Baduism dropped February 11th, 1997. Again, it was Erykah Badu's first studio album. The singles that were released: On and On, Next Lifetime, Other Side of the Game, and Apple Tree. Subsequently, she released album number 2, Mama's Gun, on November 21st, 2000. And wow, this album, it didn't feel like it's been since 2000. But the following single she released was Bag Lady, Didn't You Know, and Clever. Like I said, we didn't, as far as the criteria, we don't talk about how many albums that were sold, how many streams they had, how many Grammys they won, or anything like that. Is just about the criteria that we laid out. So with that being said, let's get into it, Britt. First album, we'll go with Baduism, Coherence. If you're rating it from a standpoint of 1 to 5, what number would you give Baduism?
Well, I've changed this one a couple times, but I'm giving it a child type of answer. I'm giving it a 3.5 for Coherence.
Okay.
Because Coherence, we're talking about a theme.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go for a theme, it's like, do the songs kind of talk about the same thing? Or are they in the same, category? And I feel like Baduism was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She had some love, she had some breakup, she had some philosophical, like it's just a little bit of this and that. So I don't really sense too much of a theme overall. So that's why I give it a 3.5.
Okay. I had to give it a 4. I think this album, and sometimes these albums, it really depends on where you are and where you get hit in your life when they come out.
Yep.
I was outside when this album came out, and it was just such a pleasure to listen to. So yeah, I love the theme of it. And for me, Badu kind of came out of nowhere. Like I don't know that I'd have even heard of her before this album came out. So she was really like a breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively. So yeah, I gave it a 4. Now when we talk about impact is something that, is very hard to measure, because what impacted one may not impact the other. But your overall thoughts, how do you score this album as far as impact is concerned?
Okay. Impact for Baduism, I gave a 5. Because it really embraced neo soul, especially around that time in 97. Because that's when D'Angelo, Brown Sugar was kind of there, and the few others that were popular around that time. But I think Brown Sugar might have came out before then.
Yeah, it did. Brown Sugar came out in 95, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But to have a female do it, have a woman do it, and she even talked about, womanhood and all that. So I feel like it gave more of an impact on the woman neo soul. Because after that, I should have did a little more research on that. Jill Scott, and then,
Jill Scott, Lauryn Hill.
But they all started, and even if they were out then, they became popular kind of after this, after Erykah Badu came out with Baduism. So I gave it a 5.
Okay. I gotta agree with you. The impact, I think, has been felt for a while. Like you said, she was somebody who it was just different. Like, it was so far removed from what we were hearing in R&B at that particular time, and I just loved it. Like, it made you want to listen even more. Like, I found myself, and I know when we started talking about reviewing this album, I found myself just going back to certain tracks, letting it play, running it back, letting it play and running it back again. And I just, actually for both albums, I really had forgotten how much I loved both of these albums. Because I still play them, but I don't play them as much as I probably should. But I'm starting to play them now more than ever. But Impact, I'm definitely giving this a 5 as well. And I think that's big because I think in the Versus series that we've done so far, I don't know too many albums that we rated got 5 for Impact. So I'd have to go back and check, but I don't think many.
Yeah.
So that's saying
I
a
think
lot.
you didn't.
Yeah, Michael
Yeah,
Jackson, I think he did.
we had one or two. Or
Yeah.
one of us did, but I don't think we agreed on it.
No, not at all. Replayability. How are you scoring this album?
A 5.
Mm.
I mean, I feel like that's a really quick, easy answer because by your definition of replayability, it's enough quality songs, and that's usually from your personal experience, 6 or more great songs. And I feel like she's got that. I mean, you have On and On, Apple Tree, Other Side of the Game, Next Lifetime, heck, certainly. And then really, okay, I might have cheated with this. So my
Okay.
favorite actually is the live album.
Really?
The live version of this album. Oh my God, I love the live version. That's where she did Tyrone. This was Tyrone era. So, you know, but no, she's got plenty that you can classify that as a really good album to replay. So
No doubt,
5
no
for me.
doubt. Yeah, it's without it goes without saying I'm giving this a 5 as well. Like I said, I really, when we started talking about it and I started going back and listening, I found myself just listening to different and hearing, and I think that's one of the great things about music is when you go back and you hear it again and you hear something different. And maybe you hear something that you didn't hear, the third or fourth time that you heard it. Or maybe you hear something different that you didn't hear when you heard it an hour ago. Maybe a snare, it may be a voice, it could be anything. But yeah, I got to give this a 5 because, since we talked about reviewing these, it's been back in my rotation. So both albums have been back in my rotation. And I think, one of the things I always say about great albums, at least for me, particularly when you got a great artist, like I kind of do with these two albums, like what I do with the aforementioned D'Angelo. I listen to both. Like there's never a time where I don't if I listen to Baduism, I'm listening to Mama's Gun. If I listen to Mama's Gun, I'm listening to Baduism. Same for Brown Sugar and Voodoo.
Yep.
So yeah, it's 5 for me as well. Lyrics. What you got on lyrics?
We do 5 like that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 5s. I don't hand out 5s.
No, you don't.
I don't hand out 5s. But yeah, this my favorite, you mentioned your favorite. Man, it's hard. My favorite song on the album probably is Other Side of the Game.
Yeah, actually I agree with that. But you know what? It's tied between Next Lifetime and Other Side of the Game. I like those two a lot.
You know what? No, let me scratch that. It's Next Lifetime. I just thought about it. Yeah, it's next. Because I remember and I think probably it's Next Lifetime because I remember how and where I was when I heard it for the first couple of times I heard it, and it was just the story that was being told, and she's telling them like, look, we can't be together, that type of thing. Yeah, I would say Next Lifetime, and then Other Side of the Game is a close second, very close second.
But I just love the live version of the whole entire album.
I gotta go back and listen. It's funny. I didn't in my research. I didn't go back and listen to the live. I haven't heard the live in a minute.
I love the live. That's probably my favorite live album.
Really?
Probably
over Prince.
See, I never count Prince live albums.
Okay.
I don't. It's not fair. It's not fair to me put Prince in any because of course it's gonna be number one.
Yeah,
but
Prince Prince is in his own category.
Yeah, he really is. So if you cut out Prince, the live version of this is my favorite.
Okay. So lyrics. Yep. What you got on lyrics?
I'm giving it a 5.
Wow.
Because by your definition, How does
Mm-hmm.
the artist sound with their words? Does it ring in your ears, like in your memory? And it does. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, who doesn't either quote on and on or uh okay, I'm cheating when I say Tyrone, but really,
Right.
you know, it probably just didn't make this version of the album, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, next lifetime, like all these things, Apple Tree, like it clicks. I'll sing it without having heard the song in a while. I'll just wake up one day and be like, oh, and start saying stuff from Apple Tree just
Mm-hmm.
randomly throughout the day. But and actually, it's funny because I do quote certainly a lot.
Of course.
Like, because she says certainly not me. I say that all the time. Like I'll start singing it how she sings it.
Yes.
It's certainly not me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm giving that 5.
Yeah, this one was tough for me. Lyrics, I got it at 4.5. So close.
If you
So
give
close.
if you give Mama 5, I'm gonna lose it. If you give it a 5 in the lyrics, I'm gonna lose it. But go ahead, 4.5.
Well, we hadn't gotten it yet. But yeah, 4.5. Um, I think this one, like you said, it is they're just songs that I just know, like when those parts come on, like yeah, I remember you even hearing like Four Leaf Clover for the first time, and that's a remake. And so it was a song that I
Mhm.
heard when I was a kid with Atlantic Star. And I think
Mhm.
yeah, it was Atlantic Star, not Midnight Star, Atlantic Star. Um and so like, you just I I love it. I love it. So lyrics wise, I had to give it 4.5. It was close to a 5, very close. Um what about production? Production.
Production. Can I? I'm generous with the 5s on this one because this one's also getting a 5. And the
Okay.
reason why production is as the album sound is how is it produced and sequenced. And I feel like it flows perfectly from the intro back when they did intros and little skits in between and whatnot. It all flowed. And when you listen to it, it just goes into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like at any point where I go, oh, okay, I really wish I didn't hear. Like we talked about it with the off the wall one. If you could put this one here instead, and I'd rather hear
Right.
this one at the end. I don't feel like at all
Right.
with this album. Um, and the way it's put together, I feel like I'm at like a jazz lounge or something, just listening to the band play and listening to her sing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just flows all together. So it got a 5.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta agree. It's a 5 for me too. I think production wise, I mean, and it was produced by several different producers. I know the legendary Bob Power was a producer on here. Chinua, Jawborn, Jamal, Ike Lee the second, of course, Erykah Badu, The Roots, James Poyser, Richard Nichols, Tone the Backbone, Robert Bradford, amongst others. These are some heavy hitters in the producer world, and I mean this album it's really interesting because it gets pegged as neo soul, but it's R&B, it's jazz,
Mm-hmm.
there's a little hip hop mix in there. It's a little bit of
Yep.
everything. So production wise, I couldn't. I had to give it a 5. I couldn't change
Mm-hmm.
it. So, like, I wrote
Yep.
down 5 initially, and then I came back and I was like, "Do I keep it at 5?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got to keep it at a 5." Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so we have completed Baduism. So
I'm
I'm
impressed with your
interested.
5s.
What's that?
I said I'm
What'd you say?
impressed with your 5s on that.
I mean, again, I absolutely love this album. Um, I love
I
Badu,
could
but I
tell.
love this album. So yeah, and I'm stingy with the 5. So um,
Yes, you are.
uh, but I tell you what, folks, we got time. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and on the other side of the break, we're gonna break down Mama's Gun, and we're gonna see which one of us gives it how many 5s they get or how many 4s she gets. Or even better, we're going to tally it up at the end, and that'll be the telltale as to which one we think was the better album. Sit tight, we'll be back in just a second. Are you feeling nostalgic for the golden eras of rap and soul music? If so, tune in to the Rap Soul Podcast. We are your weekly journey through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, spotlighting the music and the hidden gems that shaped the soundtrack of our lives. From the powerful beats to the soulful melodies, we bring you the best of the past with fresh insights and stories. Rediscover the music that defined a generation. Subscribe to the Rap Soul Podcast and enjoy the vibes. And just like that, we are back. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out the Rap Soul Podcast. This is the intersection of rap and soul music, hip hop and R&B from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. I am your host, 12 Kyle. I got my homegirl Britt in the building, and we are breaking down the Versus series. This episode is Versus, Baduism versus Mama's Gun. Now, in the first half of the episode, we told you our thoughts on Erykah Badu's first album, Baduism. Now we're going to talk about the second album, Mama's Gun. As I mentioned a little earlier, it was dropped November 21st, 2000. So with that being said, let's get into it, Britt. Coherence. How did you rank on a scale from 1 to 5, the coherence of this album?
Well, like I said before, Coherence is theme.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
I feel like the theme of it was breakup. And the album did come out after a breakup, but breakup, self-love, and wanting to love again is the vibe and everything I got from the whole entire album. Didn't get too much of the philosophical stuff like I got in the first album. This was more of your heart and getting put back together. So I gave it a 4.5.
Okay. We are in agreement. I think the theme in this album is just what you just said, and I think it's more than anything else. I think what it taught me was, like, in the themes that she put together to make it coherent, she also made sure that she avoided what they call the sophomore slump. I don't know what she was going through. Mm-hmm. I mean, we obviously found out through the music, but what she went through personally to make this album. But whatever it was, it came out in a sense of, some phenomenal music. Again, I mentioned a little earlier, and it's worth repeating. I love this album, and I was really impressed with how well it was put together. Because I'll be honest, when you drop an album like, Baduism, the first thing people are going to say is, "Can you do it again?" So for her to do it again and do it as well as she did it, I thought was very impressive. Impact. Yep. I am interested to hear how you rank this album as far as impact.
I gave it a 3.
Okay. Wow. The first 3 of the night.
Yeah. I mean, I gave Baduism a 3.5 for coherence, but I give Impact a 3 only because I feel like I never really heard, I won't say never, I didn't really hear too many people talk about this album. Not that it was bad, it's just, like you said, it's a sophomore album. It's not really up there with Baduism, but it's pretty close. It's just, she didn't have as many songs that really, what did she have, 3 singles on that one, I think? And I think it also, the fact that she had, back then with Baduism, it was, she had the live album. Then we had like MTV doing like the unplugged and everything. So that had more push than what this album did. So I just don't feel like it put more of an impact. And around that time, I think like Jill Scott was more popular. Like there was other ones that were, it's like she set the tone and then they just went ahead and like excelled past her when this one came out. My opinion.
Okay, I can respect that. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jill's debut album came out earlier in 2000. A phenomenal album as well. I did a review on that on the flagship 12 Kyle podcast. Check that out if you haven't done so already. I gotta disagree, respectfully. I mentioned a little earlier that I was outside when Baduism came out. Man, I was way outside by the time Mama's Good came out. Britt, this almost everybody that I knew was like, we were constantly playing this album. We would go to parties, not necessarily clubs, but we would go to parties and you know, car parties or just grown folk, just what the kids call kickbacks now, little house sets. You will always have Badu playing. This album was always playing. And the thing that I remember about this album is, like, I had some friends from college, young women friends, and this is all they played. And this is all they talked about. We didn't, you know, it's 2000, so we didn't have the group chat as far as texts were concerned, but this was constantly in our conversation. So Impact, I had to give it a 5. There's not anybody that I know that didn't talk about this album, that wasn't playing this album. Even all the thugs that I knew, they were playing this album. This album, for me and my peers, it was something that people played and talked about for not just when it came out, but like the subsequent years after. This was a big part of the neo soul push, I think. And I mean, while she already had a foot in the game with Baduism, I think this was the proverbial cherry on top. So I had to give it a 5.
And like you said before, it depends on where you were when these came out and what was going on, all that. So two different groups, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
I was freshman year of high school when this
right.
So,
yeah, so November
I wasn't
2000.
Outside.
Yeah, we got married in September. So I had to outside. We outside. We grown now. You know what I'm saying? We got a kid and we getting married.
Yeah.
Replayability. What do you have for the replayability of this album?
Let me double check my answer. Hold on.
Okay.
Check
your answer. Gotta check your answer.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4.
Okay.
4. Just because I feel like I'm kind of on the border as far as saying 6 great songs. I'm not saying there aren't 6 great, but I think maybe one more. Where I say great, where I'm using the word great. Okay.
Right.
Because it is a good album. Just I can get more into my answer when we get to production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, replayability is a 5.
Of course it is.
This album, and I'm playing it from front to now. There's one song I'm skipping, and I'll talk about that in just a second. It's not a perfect album, but it is right there. I mean, like, replayability. If I gave Baduism a 5, this had to get a 5 too, because like I said, I play them together. This is an album, like I said, even some almost 24 years later, like I still don't, I never get tired of playing it. Like, and it still hits in different ways. And I think that's a testament to, you know, Erykah Badu and the people that put this album together. It is a phenomenal album. And, you know, if I had to change something on it, I probably would make it a little shorter, because it's a 71-minute album. That's a long album for anybody.
Yeah.
But the flip side of it is, you know, you could move a song here, change that. But the replay bit, I mean, 71 minutes, I'm still playing. You know, so I can complain about the 71 minutes. There's the one track that I will skip. So it's less than 71 minutes, but yeah, I'm giving it 5.
Okay.
Lyrics. Talk to me about lyrics.
I feel like I'm giving lyrics a 4.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, with Baduism, you got ones that just immediately go to your head. Like if I were to say it to anybody, almost anybody, they'd know. But with this one, I don't have too many that are like quotes that I could just say to somebody and they'll know what I'm talking about. Not too many. Like I said, different groups.
Mhm.
Uh, and with this one for me, I think let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, probably only like 4 songs I would probably say I relate to as far as lyrics.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's still good. It's just
Right.
yeah, if we're talking about ringing in my ears. And I know it's a breakup one, like I mentioned before.
Mhm.
Um I don't hear too much breakup though. Like when we talked about Mary J, and
Mhm.
that was a heartbreak album, like
Right.
I can tell you what this is about, but I don't feel it, if that makes sense.
So you don't feel it the same way?
Yeah, no.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, it has, it has its moments.
Yeah, and I like her artistry with the words. I just don't, it's not 5 for me.
Okay.
You're gonna give it a 5.
I it gets a 5. You know what? It probably would have gotten a 4, right?
Mhm.
But booty.
Booty's a good one.
Your booty might be bigger, but I still can pull your nigga, but I don't want him.
I do
Britt,
love
come
like in
on
that
now.
every time she says something, it's almost like a drum roll. It's like
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. She said, the whole encyclopedia. That's how she pronounced it. Implegia,
Yeah.
but your nigga thinks I'm deeper. But I don't want him.
Yeah.
Man, listen. That song right there, and I love how Booty, if you're not paying attention, particularly if you're being introduced to this album, if you're not paying attention, Booty runs so smoothly into the next track, Kiss Me on My Neck, which is one of my
Yep.
favorites. Because
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I was listening to it, I was like, wait a minute. I had to go look at the CD because I didn't realize that
Mm-hmm.
it had switched songs. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, we can get into that on the next part, but yeah.
yeah. So I gotta give it a 5. I gotta give it a 5. It gets a 5
Okay.
just off Booty. I mean,
Booty was
Booty
a good
was,
one.
yeah. It's
It's
still,
definitely top tracks.
and I
Booty
was
is a
like, it was where it got me was that, you know, she's singing about love, she's singing about breakups, and then it just she's on her shit talking. Like I
mm-hmm.
like that, and you don't, from the outside perspective, you don't expect that because that's not the theme of that's not the theme of the album, and it
No.
really kind of, her lyrics kind of come out of nowhere. So I love that part
Mm-hmm.
of it.
But so I said it's a breakup, reflecting on relationship, like self-love. It's all about that. And in a breakup, when you're trying to bounce back, um, and some people have had to deal with this where you've broken up. You're not
Hmm.
with the guy. You finally get to the point where you don't want them, and then they got somebody else, and that new person thinks that, oh, you want my man. No,
Right.
I don't want it.
I don't want him. You
No.
had him. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want him.
Yep.
I don't want him.
Yeah, Boo's a good one.
So, and a lot of women can relate to that.
I
I
don't
think
want him.
Britt can relate to that too.
I don't want
I
him.
don't want.
Hell no. That's
Right.
how the song is. Hell no.
You and I have had conversations about that. Yeah, you don't want him. You don't want him.
Ooh.
So where we at? Production?
Production. I give it
What
a
you got on
5.
productions?
I give it a
What'd you
5.
say? 5 more production? Okay.
Yep. Because, like you said, with Booty going into Kiss Me on My Neck, but if you listen to the whole album, it does that. Just like the first one. It just runs right into it. And I know I mentioned this, we did Sign of the Times. I
Yes.
love an album that it's got some of the same sounds and it just bounces right into the next one. And there's a lot of this album where I can't tell that a new song started because it just flows right into the next one. I You know what? I take back my 5 because I realized I forgot something. I didn't write it down. It's getting a 4.
Okay.
So it does run right into the next one. However, I feel that I need some songs put in different places.
Okay. That's fair.
I feel like it slows down when I'm not ready for it to slow down, and it picks up when I'm not ready for it to pick up. There's the sounds itself in the songs, it leads into the next one. Literally just goes into the next one. But I would like it in a different order on some of them.
Okay, so you sequence it
why-
differently.
Yeah, so that's why I gave it a 4.
Okay.
I do like, this has kind of with production, I like that even though it's not really on there, I've looked and I can't find anything, but it's got throughout the album Robert Glasper vibes. But I don't see his name on anything, but especially in Green.
I don't even know if Glasper was out back then.
Yeah. And I was like, let me double check, but I didn't see anything. And I know they've done work later on, but in Green Eyes especially, it's definitely got that vibe to it. And I like Robert Glasper a lot. So yeah, I just had to put that out there. But yeah, so production got a 4.
Yeah, I think James Poyser, who works with the Roots, he's all over this album production wise. So I think, and he and Glasper are pretty tight musically and everything. So I think that's probably where you kind of hear some similarities there.
See, I knew something.
I mean, like, yeah, this album is solid production wise. There are many parts of this album that sound like a jam session. Like
the first,
yeah. I mean, like
that one gave me Lenny Kravitz.
Okay.
Penitentiary.
And see, I was on the other side. Like I like Voodoo, and I had to look and see like when Voodoo was made because I know Questlove worked on this album with Badu as well as Voodoo with D'Angelo, and a lot of their studio sessions were overlapping. They both, I think, recorded in Electric Lady Studio in New York City. That's Jimi Hendrix's famous studio. With all that being said, it's getting a 5. Yeah,
so we know which one you giving the reward to.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It is close for me. But I did mention earlier that there's a song on here that I just track 11, In Love with You is Stephen Marley. I don't like it. I try to like it. I don't like it.
It's yeah, I mean, I like it, but it's not one of my favorites. It's almost like they had to do 14 songs. Just throw this one in there because we need to do
right.
Because the album could have done without that. And that's one of the ones where I'm like, that needs to be somewhere else.
And the more and more I think about it, like, I agree. But the thing is, like, I don't even know where I would put it. Like, like you said, it's toward the back end of this track 11 of 14 tracks. I don't necessarily know if I want it in the front of the album. It don't feel good at the end of the album. I would have just taken it off altogether. I will say this much. Penitentiary Philosophy, the way that album starts, song in particular is so phenomenal. Just listening to it over and over again, I forgot how much I love that song in particular. I think it kicks off the album brilliantly. I'm a little biased. My favorite track on the album is Didn't You Know, produced by the legendary Jay Dilla. I love that song. That is my favorite song on this album. But Clever, Orange Moon, Green Eyes. I mean, other than I'm in love with you,
Yeah. I like
I can't touch it.
Bag Lady is one of my
Yes.
favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked Bag Lady a long time ago, but after going through some things and realizing what it really is about,
Mm-hmm.
it's relatable.
Yes.
So Bag Lady is one of my favorites. Kiss Me on My Neck is definitely one of my favorites. And yeah, probably Didn't You Know? But I do like how And On is a really good part two to On and On. It's a really good
It really
follow
is.
up. So that album's definitely got some good ones on there.
Okay. Well, it is time for us to get to our totals. Now, what did you give Mama's Gun for production? You gave it a 4, right?
Yeah, I gave it a 4.
Okay. So let's see. And you can say something while I'm tallying this up. Just give your overall thoughts on both albums.
Let's see. I mean, I feel like also I was a little biased with mine because Baduism, like I said, 2000 for Mama's Gun, I was freshman year of high school. So Baduism came out, I was in middle school. And my parents listened to Baduism all the time. And I mean, we were in LA, so LA traffic, you got hours in traffic and
right.
albums that they like to play. And so I had the exposure for that one a lot. So I think that just probably leaned me more towards Baduism with the 5s. Because like we said before, different groups, different spaces when it came out. And I mean, my parents and I actually like a lot of the same music.
Okay.
So that kind of pushed me more towards that. High school, it was something else.
Oh, no doubt. Like you said, you were younger then. Yeah, I think both albums are phenomenal. Like I said, I never get tired of listening to them. Never get tired of listening to either one. Let me see. Is there a track on Baduism that I could do without? Not really. Baduism just kind of flows. It's
does.
not really.
Well,
yeah, it's not really any tracks I would take off. I like Certainly.
Yeah,
the Flipped It at the end. And yeah, Orange Moon, AD 2000. Booty and On is that's wee. Yes.
So good.
Yeah,
I don't
it ain't much. Like I said, for this album, it is for both of these albums for me personally, it's like splitting hairs. I mean, like it is tough to say which one is better than the other. Based on the tally that I have here,
I already know.
you got Baduism over Mama's Gun slightly, and I have Mama's Gun slightly over Baduism, which I wasn't, when we come into these, I never know which way they're gonna go. I thought it'd probably be, I didn't know what it was gonna be. I'll be honest. When we did Michael and we did Prince, I kind of could tell, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's these two albums right here are cold. For those of you listening, if you haven't done so, when you're finished listening to this episode, please do yourself a favor. Please, ma'am, please, sir, go listen to these albums. These albums,
play them back to back.
Yeah, play them back to back.
They
are phenomenal. Yeah, you could say that we're wrong, but I doubt it.
Not likely.
Yeah, it's not likely. It's not likely. Is that? And so far in our versus categories, we've the episodes that we've done, There's always been great feedback, but I don't necessarily know that anybody has ever come back and said, well, nah, I don't think she was right on it. We've been pretty solid in our picks and been able to, back up what it is we've been saying. Before we get out of here, Britt, tell folks where they can find you, where they can find the podcast and catch you on social media.
Well, if you disagree or agree, you can find me on Twitter. Pretty 18, BRITTY 18. Podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts, and it is I Can Talk About This All Day with Britt Renae.
And when does it come out?
Every Friday.
Yeah, you gotta tell them that. Every Friday.
You know it. That text message.
Right. Yeah, because I was like, where the podcast at? I'm thinking Friday morning. I need a podcast.
It was just delayed, but I've never missed one.
Hey, well, that's good. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
4 hours later than usual.
Well, see, like I said, that means that the people who enjoy your podcast are waiting on it. That's what you want. So no problem. You guys have been listening long enough. First and foremost, let me thank you all for finding the Rap Soul podcast. This is a new venture for me. One of the reasons why I decided to do the Rap Soul podcast is because, people like Britt and my other friends have come on here, and I wanted a space where we could do just music and just music all the time. And so this has been a great thing for me, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So this episode and all of my episodes on the Rap Soul podcast, they drop every Monday at midnight. So subscribe. We're on YouTube. You can go there, leave comments, criticisms. I don't think there are many. And leave comments there. You can hit us up on social media, the Rap Soul podcast, across the board, Twitter, Facebook, Threads, what else? TikTok. So we're a little bit of everywhere. We're also on Reddit. If you'd like to continue this discussion, we can take it to the Reddit page. Just go to Reddit / the Rap Soul podcast. We can keep it talking about that there as well. And also the flagship podcast, the 12 Kyle podcast, that drops every Thursday and every Sunday at midnight. So you're getting 3 episodes from your boy every week. Tap in. And if you'd like to contribute financially, hit us up on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE. Again, that's going to do it for us. So for my girl Britt, I am your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5,000. Cheers.
Thank you for listening. This concludes the episode. Be sure to subscribe to the Rap Soul podcast. You can find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Follow the podcast on social media. And feel free to continue this discussion on our Reddit page. More importantly, share this podcast with a friend or family member who loves music as much as you do. Until next time, 5,000.